All right, on the Flat Rate Master, today we're talking about should your shop take on big jobs. Now, when I'm talking about big jobs, I'm obviously talking about engines, transmissions, big jobs. Every time I've done a what's going on around the shop and we've got a big job going in the shop, or I talk about a big job I've got going on, or etc., there's always a comment about why are you doing those big jobs? You make more money doing small jobs. Well, I don't know about you, but I get bored of brake jobs for one thing. So let's talk about the reasons why a shop should or should not take on those kind of jobs. Now here's the big caveat. Are you going to make as much margin on the parts? Probably not. Let's say you're putting a remanufactured engine in a car. Well, that engine's going to be expensive. And to do 60% margin on it, it's a little difficult. So you're not going to make as much. But you can't spend margin. You can spend dollars though. You know, you make $1,000 on the engine and then 20 hours on the labor. Still a pretty decent ticket as far as actual money. It may make your margins look poor, but it's a lot of money. And that's one very good reasons to do big jobs like that, is because there's a chunk of money in it. You know, a 20-hour ticket, associated parts that you need to replace with that big job, and then you got the big chunk of whatever, and you get markup on that. Well, it's a chunk of money. In that same regard, you have, you can pull in brake jobs all day long and make that same amount of money over the course of 2 days that you would make it over 2 days doing that big job. And you've got a lot less liability because you're not going to break a connector. You're not going to, this needs to be sold or whatever. It's pretty cut and dry for the most part, unless you forget to check calipers and it needs calipers, then you got to deal with that. But on the other side of it, you got one car that's making you 20 hours for the shop. Now we're talking for the shop, not technician end of it. And you're making a, chunk of money on the parts end of it. Not the margin you want, but a chunk of money. And that's the thing, is it's a chunk of money. I don't know about y'all, but I don't come here for free. I come here to make money. So, but some of the downsides of, doing big jobs is, one, you're going to have a technician that's tied up for however long that job takes. And if you've got a good technician that can jump in, knock that job out, where it comes to a problem is especially in smaller shops. When you've got limited bays, limited technician resources. This is a large shop. We've got 9 technicians and 16 bays. It's a relatively large shop. 10 in the upper shop, 6 down below, plus the alignment rack. So for us having a lift tied up and a technician tied up, we've got other technicians. Are we really losing that much money by not having a technician to do a brake job that comes in? We're not turning brake jobs away. Trust me on that. So for a smaller shop, it may not make sense because you've only got limited bay space. So you get tied up on that big job, you might have to literally push the car out just to have a bay for that technician. Otherwise, he's standing around doing nothing. And in those cases, it does not make sense to take on those big jobs because chances are they're going to cost you more in other ways than that big job will make you. Simple facts. But in a large shop, let's say you've got a customer that comes in that's a long-time customer. Do you really want to turn them away because you don't want to do their engine that they're willing to do? That's a hard thing to do because you're basically telling them to go to your competitor. They may not come back. And that's something that a lot of shops consider. You think about, I got to send them down the road for this, and what if they don't come back? What if next time they need brakes? Everybody loves brakes. They don't come back here. They go to that shop that was willing to do their engine. You also need to look at what it's going to cost you overall. You know, that technician down for 2 days, that bay down for 2 days, but making a chunk of money and retaining a customer. You know, customers are fickle. You send them away for something like that, they may not come back. We do our best to do everything we can in-house. You know, that's why when we didn't have an alignment rack, we sublet alignments. We didn't send them go down the road and go, yeah, go get an alignment. No, we had it done for them. Now that we have alignments in-house, we just do them. But my point of that is the more you send customers down the road to do repairs you're not willing to take on, the more likely they are not to come back. You know, think about it. Oh, well, he did my engine. I got a coolant leak. Maybe I should take it to him because it might be warranty. And then, you know, comes in, goes in for a radiator. And then, oh, while they're there, my brakes are getting worn. Let me do those brakes. Oh, and then they come, you know, 6 months later, they go, oh, I need an oil change. Why am I going to go to that shop that didn't want to do my engine when we go to the shop that actually wants my business? Big jobs suck. I mean, there's, you know, guys like Bam Bam that just love heavy line, and I'm not one of them. I'll take a scan tool any day of the week over moving a bunch of heavy metal, okay? Yes, there's a lot of liability in doing a bigger job. You're out a chunk of money up front to, you know, buy the engine. You've got a technician down for a couple days. There is additional liability in that job. Plus the fact you're doing a major repair and they're going to go down the road, and if they have a problem, well, you're going to be on the hook for it. That's why we warranty stuff. But on the other side of that, and that's something a smaller shop may not want to take on. And it's understandable. You know, you're running tighter budgets and putting a bunch of money into a big engine job that you're going to kill a technician, maybe have to schedule other customers out because that technician's down, could be a problem. So it's definitely not wise in a smaller environment to take on those kind of jobs, even though you might lose a customer because, well, you might lose more money doing that. In a larger shop like this, well, we have the base space, we have the technicians, we have the abilities, we have the talent, and we can make the money. So on the dealership side, obviously you're doing everything, so this doesn't apply to you. So as always, thanks for watching. I am the Flat Rate Master.